one thing that you briefly mentioned is how IEEE serves as a technical co-sponsor of conferences with other organizations. Is this problematical at times?
Absolutely. In fact, I try to raise consciousness and do something about it when I was VP TAB, and later when I became president. I held one retreat during my presidential term, and that retreat was devoted to the question of technical co-sponsorship, because I think we were shooting ourselves in the foot through this technical sponsorship business. Technical sponsorship gives away the store. We give people the right to use our name. We let them make it appear like they're an IEEE conference, and we get no tangible benefit from it. We're doing it out of the goodness of our heart to our colleagues in other fields and other organizations. And as a result, people are now, or have been for several years, looking at this as an opportunity to become an IEEE conference, or something that looks like an IEEE conference, and not have to go through any of the hassles. They don't have to submit their budgets to IEEE. They don't have to do any of the administrative things that IEEE-sponsored conferences have to do, like budgeting. You have to submit a budget. You have to have the budget reviewed. You have to have a budget approved. They don't do any of that. You could start a conference, request IEEE technical sponsorship, and chances are, if you request it, you'll find somebody who will say yes. That's been the history, that if one organization says no, they have a bunch of other organizations, from societies to councils to sections to chapters, even student branches, have been able to give the right for an outside organization to use the IEEE image. They can't really put the IEEE logo on their website, but they can do just about everything else. They can claim that IEEE is co-sponsoring the event because the outside world doesn't know the difference between co-sponsorship or technical co-sponsorship.
Right.
Nobody knows the difference, so therefore they can appear to be an IEEE conference. So people who submit papers can claim they submitted a paper to an IEEE conference. If it appears in the proceedings goes into IEEE Explore, so they can claim that they published in IEEE. They can get all the benefits of an IEEE, nearly all the benefits of an IEEE conference, without it benefiting the IEEE. And this has been growing and growing. When I first became aware of this, the number of technical sponsored conferences was a small fraction of the total. Last year, we had more technical sponsored conferences than we had financially sponsored conferences. And if you look at the growth rates of technical sponsored conferences, it's been growing up rapidly. The number of financially sponsored conferences has been relatively constant. And now there's been a crossover where you actually have more tech co-sponsored conferences than we have financially sponsored conferences. And frankly, if I were starting a conference today, I would probably ask for technical sponsorship rather than financial co-sponsorship, because that way I could maintain complete control over my conference. I wouldn't have to go to IEEE for any permissions. I could do my budget any way I wanted. Mm-hmm. I could hold on to the money at the end of it. If I make a profit, I could hold on to that money and not have to return it to IEEE or to some IEEE organization. So I would have most of the benefits of an IEEE conference without any of the hassles. And that's the reason that we have this rapid growth in the tech co-sponsored number of conferences, and we have virtually no growth or minuscule growth in financially sponsored conferences. And to me, this is a big problem, because if we had played it right, we would have a lot more financially sponsored conferences today than we do. So basically, we've been helping our competition. Some of these conferences are in areas where the IEEE has its own conferences. So if we have a conference on a certain subject and it's financially sponsored by IEEE and we make money on it and we attract attendees, why would we want to give technical sponsorship to a competing conference? But yet that's what we do. So this has been one of my issues
Yes.
for the last probably 10 years or so.
One thing, another thing, I know you were fortunate from timing to be president during the 125th anniversary year
Yes.
of IEEE, and
Yes.
I know that there were a whole variety of
Yes, that was,
activities.
that was
involved.
good news and bad news. Kathy Berg, my assistant while I was president, Kathy Berg told me that I spent 180 days away from home during my year as president. And much of that was because of 125th anniversary celebrations.